rather complex deal that had been worked out to get Hunter Biden, President Joe Biden's son, off the hook in a whole lot of cases fell apart dramatically in court in Delaware on Wednesday. The judge who was overseeing the proceedings, Judge Mary Ellen Noreika, said that the deal was a bit unusual and that there were aspects of it that she found it hard to accept, particularly suggestions that an agreement and that the deal would get Hunter Biden off the hook even in more cases following further allegations and further charges that could be framed against him. The two principal cases that were worked out in the deal were over tax and over the gun laws. In the first case, Hunter Biden owed about $100,000 a year in the tax years for both 2017 and 2018, which he did not pay in time. And the idea was to get him off the hook in these once he would plead guilty. But this then was related to the other case relating to the gun issue. And that was the issuance of a license for him to use and carry a gun, and without him having declared that he was on drugs. And so the idea was that he would be spared any conviction on the gun issue, and that was a quite serious charge because it meant a false declaration in the obtaining of a weapon. The two were linked, and the judge, Mary Ellen Noreika, said that this was an unusual arrangement. In fact, it would certainly be an unusual arrangement. It was a brittle deal that had been much attacked by Republicans. The fact is that the failure to pay the tax is documented. There is no doubt about it. There are no arguments on that front at all. It is well established that he failed to pay those taxes and declare them in good time. The other also arose from a set of facts. The fact is that he was on drugs and that he failed to declare it while obtaining that license for the gun. Both of these are well documented, and the argument of many Republicans has been that why should Hunter Biden be off the hook simply for confessing to what he had no alternative really but to confess to. But in any case, that deal is now out. The question is what next, and the judge has said that there will be a 14-day period in which the parties have been asked to see if they can work out a new deal that is agreeable to both parties and acceptable to the court, that they should then come back. So while this process is on, Hunter Biden, rather than pleading guilty as proposed under the agreement, has pleaded not guilty to both these charges, but as was said in court, for the time being. The question now is what kind of deal can be worked out, and whether any deal that can be worked out will be acceptable to the court and also to a lot of Republican leaders, that there cannot be any neat arrangement for Hunter Biden simply to confess to the obvious and then be let off the hook and be spared facing the full force of the law. The matter has been now kicked down the line for another 2 weeks for a new compromise to be worked out. What that will be, we do not know, but we do know that the court is not in a hurry to accept a compromise that appears not to be sound in law.
I want to see justice move forward for Hunter Biden and hope that he'll acknowledge his responsibility for the proceeding that will go forward, and the judge will make a decision on sentencing that I hope will be fair and just, with an acknowledgement of that responsibility on his part. I think on impeachment, my hope is that the House puts aside what is essentially a distraction from the real task at hand, which is making sure that our government is funded for the coming fiscal year. And the impeachment imbroglio may be an excuse or a distraction from the real work that the House has to do, and the Senate as well. So I hope that we'll focus on what's really important to the American people.
Clearly, listen, the best you can say about this is Hunter Biden is getting a sweetheart deal that no other American who wasn't rich and had a father as the president would ever get, ever. And you've had people who are currently incarcerated come out and say that. And the DOJ's own guidelines say that you can't offer this deal. So it's just another example, I think, of this sort of sweetheart deal that the Bidens seem to get. But it's also just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, I think there's a lot more to learn here. Frankly, to me, the foreign bribery allegations potentially touching on his father are by far the most important thing here. I mean, that's the whole reason that his business dealings, Hunter's, are relevant. The President of the United States was potentially involved in his business dealings. I mean, that's unbelievable. So I think we've got to get to the bottom of that. What he says today in court, by the way, his opportunity to talk today in court will be very limited.
Well, we have to find at the end, if the justice system is fair to all Americans and not one system for the Biden Inc. family and another for America, you heard during the whistleblowers that the Biden family said that they would waive the statute of limitations on all those tax provisions. So now they have the opportunity to do that because the IRS agent said they did. You have now knowledge that Weiss wanted to prosecute in 2 different jurisdictions. Now they have the opportunity to do that because they said they wanted to do that. And you have Garland, the Attorney General, who said he would back up Weiss if they wanted to have that happen. So now is the window to show that we have equal justice. That's the real question. Now it's just a window. Is it going to be fair as you treat every other American? That would be the question.
I know many people have been following the news in Delaware today and we're going to have a lot of questions. And so here's what I'll say at the top before I turn it over to my colleague, the Admiral. Hunter Biden is a private citizen, and this was a personal matter for him. As we have said, the President, the First Lady, they love their son, and they support him as he continues to rebuild his life. This case was handled independently, as all of you know, by the Justice Department under the leadership of a prosecutor appointed by the former president, President Trump. So for anything further, as you know, and we've been very consistent from here, I'd refer you to the Department of Justice and to Hunter's representatives, who is his legal team, obviously, who can address any of your questions.